Christmas morning, and after Christmas Eve, with the spectacular light show that we had in our hotel, that was quite interesting, all of the electricity in the entire hotel got shut off. And Eric and I, we had already been sleeping when all of that went down, so we just got back into bed and went to sleep. It didn't matter what state the hotel was in, we were going back to bed. So we woke up this morning, there's no electricity at all. So hot shower, you're not having one. Wi-Fi, it doesn't exist. And the world is waking up outside. The hotel overall is pretty good, and I do kind of feel like this might be just a strange thing that happened. Or maybe it happens at this hotel a lot, but it's a strange thing that's happened in our experience. Yeah, so all the electricity is still out, and we're just trying to get ready for the day. Eric is in the shower right now. No hot water. I'm not even gonna try, so I'm just going out the way that I am. I took a shower last night. But Christmas is off to a very interesting start, and we'll be hitting the road pretty soon, getting on Costanza and making our Christmas journey to Sapulok. I don't really know if there's hotels there. I don't really know if there's anything. So I'm hoping we'll get some sort of present when we get there, which is somewhere to sleep. That may or may not be better than this.
Merry Christmas, y'all. We're getting ready to leave the hotel with the electrical chaos. And they automatically just gave us a discount on the second night that we had stayed here, which was last night, where the lights were all insane. And you pay for, a certain number of things, and we stayed in kind of a nicer hotel here because we wanted, electricity and a hot shower and Wi-Fi and all that. And they couldn't provide a majority of it, so it was nice that we didn't have to fight with them. Like, she just immediately gave us a discount. So they're all right in my book. You can't control everything that's gonna happen. I am a little curious, if you're an electrician and you know what happened, what caused that to happen? It was every room in the entire hotel, so there has to be something on their main breaker or something that freaked out. I'd like to know, just curiosity has got me.
It's Christmas, and this is a church here in Malaysia. And it looks like they're having a lovely little celebration. Lots of people. You need to, if you're gonna explain this, you need to be very excited.
I gotta be excited? Top of the muffin to you! Every time I see this sign, that's all I'm thinking. What does this mean? The sign's just excited. There's no other information. So we found some mountains, and this bike is not a big fan of doing the mountains quickly. We are in first gear, and we are doing just under 20 kilometers an hour. This might slow down our progress a little bit.
We may be going as slow as humanly possible. It is so slow, but the view is pretty spectacular.
So people may be wondering what's going on here with my fashion and the situation back here. This is how the locals roll. So they put their coat on backwards when they're riding a motorbike, and the reason is, one, it keeps the sun off your arms, and two, it lets you, it keeps all the things off of your clothes and everything. However, lets you have an area in your back where you still get some breeze going along your back. And people are like, well, why wouldn't you just wear it forward and zip it up? Well, because then you wouldn't get the breeze on the back. So they just put that shit on backwards, and this is how they style it. And 90% of the people you see go by are rolling down the road with a coat on backwards. This is how it is. The only problem I've had is I had some gummy, and I wanted to put it in my pockets and then have it accessible, but the pockets are all in weird places now. It gets really hard to reach all the way around yourself to get your gummy out of your pockets. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. I'm gonna have to talk to somebody here and see how they deal with their gummy situation.
Just sew you a pocket here.
I need a gummy pocket on my boob. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe everybody's got a special pocket for their gummy. We went over that beautiful mountain range. Went up through some clouds, and it was damn steep sometimes. Like there was like 12, 13, 14% grades. That
I saw 16.
16. Yeah, it was like really, really steep, and we went over it, and it got pretty chilly up there. And while we were going over the mountain range, this guy pulled up next to us. He's like, "Are you guys okay?" And we were like, "Yeah, we're good." And then he sped off and stopped, and he took off his coat even though it was freezing. And then we passed him, and he passed us, and it was very clear he was just keeping an eye on us, like to make sure we were okay. And meanwhile, I'm watching the gas gauge on the bike as you're going up this hill, and you just like, you're in first gear with the throttle open. You just like burning fuel, like a ton of it. I'm watching the fuel gauge just do this. Like, I don't know if we're gonna make it. And eventually I was like, you know, he pulled up to us again. He was like, "You still okay?" And I was like, "Where's the gasoline?" He's like, 20 kilometers. And I was like, 20 kilometers up or 20 kilometers down? He was like, "Down." I was like, "All right." And then he looked at the gas gauge. We're driving down the road while this is all happening. He looked at the gas gauge. He's like, "You'll be all right." And there's a gas station next to where we are, so we will be all right. So everything is all good. So it's a little strange because Malaysia is a pretty developed country, but we're on kind of an undeveloped method of transportation. So like when you're in Indonesia or something, it's a little less developed. There's gas stations everywhere, because people sell like glass bottles of fuel out of the front of their house. So you never run out of fuel. There's always fuel somewhere because it's just there. But here, that situation isn't happening because of like regulation and stuff. So you have to have a real gas stand, which is like a very modern, normal gas stand that you'd see in America or Japan or whatever. And they're few and far between because people are driving cars. Not very many people are going long distances on these bikes. So we gotta be a little smarter, I think. And we've got a fuel tank here that I think we're gonna make sure is full from now on so we don't run into these situations where we're running out of fuel. If we have that and the tank, I think we'll be all right. But it was a pretty nice drive. It was really beautiful, and it was nice to have that little bit of cool air in here. Nice. I almost turned my jacket around and zipped it up. Some people watching this video might not realize this, but we live in Japan and we've lived there for 5 years. And something that we do every winter basically is we go on an international trip outside of Japan, so we're very rarely there. So we haven't had a really good opportunity to participate in the biggest Japanese tradition for Christmas there is, which is having KFC. And I'm
chicken.
I'm not
seriously.
joking. There's
like,
lines of people.
Huge lines of people. People pre-order this stuff so they can walk in and get all the chicken for their family and take it home on Christmas.
And we're not quite sure how this began. My guess is that the Colonel kind of looks like Santa Claus, and then maybe at some point KFC kind of did a heavy advertising and it just drilled it into their society. But
yeah,
it's like hardcore, like popular in Japan. So we're gonna have a Japanese Christmas, and we might make this a Christmas tradition, I think, because you're never in a country where there's not KFC. It's really rare.
KFC is prolific.
It's like prolific, especially in Asia. So we're gonna go bust up in here and see if
mashed potatoes.
See if we can find anything fun for Christmas lunch.
Specifically mashed potatoes!
This is possibly the largest KFC I've been in my entire life. It feels like a labyrinth that goes back far, really far, and it's very modern and everything. Like, it's, if you put this in America, you just be like, okay, I'm at KFC. Except for there's a play area for kids inside. Is that normal at KFCs in America? I can't recall. I haven't been in a KFC in America in like 10 years, so I'm really not 100% sure. And I really don't even know what they serve at KFC in America either. So maybe this is just stuff people can be like, so what? You got the same thing they've got down the street, but maybe it's interesting. I don't know.
All I know about KFC in America is the menu is epically complicated.
Is it?
It is so complicated. You go in there and it's just like sets all over the place, and you just don't really know what you're getting, and they're like thighs and breasts and all this stuff, and it's so freaking complicated. And I never end up going in there because I just don't know how to order. But this place, their menu was quite like, it was up on the wall, and you could see like a la carte, like you could get a one piece of chicken, and that's amazing. That never happens in KFC in America. Like,
are you sure?
Yeah,
I think you're talking crazy.
I mean, I haven't been in a while, obviously, but like it was always so complicated. But this place was very easy, and they had some special things that I ended up getting a loaded potato bowl. It looks like it has corn and fried chicken that's been chopped up. We don't know whether it's cheese or gravy at the moment. I'm gonna find out. It's cheese, which is a disappointment.
There's no gravy in there at all?
There's no gravy.
Are you serious? Pull it back. Let me see. Is this a pile of cheese?
It's just cheese.
What is that? That white stuff is cheese?
White stuff might be mayonnaise.
Oh my god.
So that's... It's mayonnaise. A bit of a disappointment because I'm a gravy person. And on the picture, it really did look like gravy. And normally you chop...
Well, did you think it was going to be gravy or mashed potatoes?
I thought it is mashed potatoes.
Oh.
But I thought there was going to be gravy on top of the mashed potatoes.
Where's the mashed potatoes?
Mashed potatoes are down at the
bottom. So wait, there's mashed potatoes.
It's called the loaded potato bowl.
Oh, okay. That's what I was confused about. So there's mashed potatoes, cheese, and mayonnaise? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It could be sour cream, but it doesn't taste like sour cream.
And then are these just little shrimp
Yeah,
popper things?
I got the shrimp poppers.
Okay. All right, let me get this other jams open. Do they have French fries at KFC?
Yeah.
Do they? Is that normal?
Pretty much all fast food.
Okay. This is called a Little Zinger. I have no idea what it is. Katie was like, that's going to be something you like. So she got me the Little Zinger. Not clear exactly on what's happening in here. Okay. So it's a little tiny chicken sandwich. And I'm guessing mayonnaise and maybe a little barbecue sauce.
Where's the cheese?
What's that?
I said, where's the cheese?
Yeah. Is there supposed to be cheese?
No.
No, okay. And then...
There's never supposed to be cheese.
Onions. You can see the
Oh,
onions
I can
there.
smell them.
Yeah, you can smell them. I was going to say, it's a really strong smell. Okay, Little Zinger, let's see what's up for Christmas. Okay.
What's the brown sauce? Is it barbecue?
Yeah, vaguely. It's got a little bit of tang to it. So it's a little bit of a tangy. Yeah, okay, the tang is actually kind of coming in. That's fun. I don't know, I think I'm just happy to be getting my, chicken tendies, y'all. We are officially out in the sticks. We are traveling out to this little town that I guess Katie mentioned earlier that we don't know if they have a place to stay or not, or what's going to happen when we get there. But the drive is really nice, and we've got these beautiful roads, and there's like no potholes or anything, and like the roads are super beautiful, nice and curvy, and actually quite fun. Had a couple of hills to go up, not like we did this morning though. It's been a lot more mild than that 16% grade climb that we were on earlier. And we're watching the sky, and it's a little cloudy. Let me take a look now. Yeah, there's some dark clouds that are a bit scary, but so far I haven't seen a drop of rain. So the only thing that's been wet and on my windscreen was a big gnarly bug. It just like exploded like right on my face, and I was really happy I had that screen down.
We talk about being sunny weather girls, and as I was driving, or I wasn't driving, I was just riding there. As I was riding, I noticed there's a big rain cloud to our left, and then another big rain cloud to our right, and I look up. It's just sunny and nice and no problems, and I was like, sunny weather girls. I also noticed Eric talks like when there's a sunbeam around, or if we're on a boat, he gets really sleepy. I apparently get really sleepy on the bike now. I
do not sleep on the bike.
just could go to sleep any second. That would be pretty good. But right now I'm watching some ants. So lots of traffic with the ants. So that gives me something to do.
Arrived in a little town that was our goal today. And by town, I mean, let's take a spin. We're standing like on the map, like where the town is. Do you see a town? Because I don't see a town. I see a dirt road And there's a sign that says there might be a town down the dirt road, but I don't know if I really think that there's gonna be much more. There's a kid over here buying water from a vending machine, like put a big bucket into a machine and it gives you water, which indicates that there's no stores or anything here, because like otherwise there would be like he'd go to a convenience store or whatever and buy drinking water. So that's not a good sign. And the last town we went through from this direction was about 100 kilometers. And the next town in that direction is about 263 kilometers.
235.
235, I'm sorry. Ultimately, we want to go this direction. We don't want to go back the way we came. It's about 3 p.m. The weather is okay. It seems all right now, but it's like with all these hills and stuff, it's like hard to tell like what the clouds are going to do. And there's an activity in this town that we kind of want to do, but we aren't have any idea really how to do it. We're supposed to take a boat somewhere, so we're gonna go to a river and think maybe there's a boat. You know, who knows? So that's our goal right now, and then we have no idea what we're gonna do after that. Locals are friendly. So like our options are basically like drive down this dirt road and see if there's a town, which I'm very, very doubtful of. 2, drive the 236 kilometers, 35 kilometers? Down this direction, and there's a town there. It looks like a pretty substantial like settlement of some sort. Or just start asking locals if we can stay at their house. Those are our three options. Luckily, we have enough fuel, I think, that if we wanted to go all the way there, we'd be driving in the night. It would suck, but we'd make it. And the roads, aside from one tiny little patch that looked like construction or something had happened, the roads have been beautiful, so I'm not concerned about that. But I mean, I don't know how this is gonna pan out. Merry Christmas, y'all.
So we decided that we'd go down the little dirt road, see if there was anything that resembled civilization. We found one house, and we decided we'd stop at it and talk to whoever lived there. And I told the people the tourist attraction that we want to go see. And they told us how to get to the tourist attraction. And English here is not prevalent, but this young boy did his best. And he communicated very well to us that we need to go down this road 6 kilometers, and there'll be a jetty and a longhouse. And we'll just see what happens when we get there. If we end up driving through the night, then we drive through the night. We'll figure it out. Bye-bye!
About 7 kilometers back is where we talked to these people that said go 7 kilometers and look for a jetty and a longhouse. We haven't seen a jetty or a longhouse, like a boat jetty, because there's a river that we're now nowhere near. It's very confusing. And now these people said go another 7 kilometers this way, so that'll be 14 total kilometers from the first 7 kilometers. And then maybe we'll see this thing apparently from the road? It's a little confusing, but the people we just talked to were lovely at this little, I'd almost call this a village. Like, this is actually somewhat city-like considering the area we're in. And they had fuel in cans, like plastic bottles of fuel. So we topped off the fuel tank and we'll do another 7 kilometers, see what happens. So we did those 7 kilometers. It turned out to be like about 10. And we found another little town. This is actually pretty substantial. And there's a little overlook that we're gonna walk up to, and we're gonna look off the overlook, and maybe we'll see. So what are we looking for? We're looking for rocks or something?
Like rocks. It's like some limestone rocks in the jungle.
That's what we're looking.
That's what I've heard.
So that's what we're looking for, and maybe we'll find somebody that can help us point us in that direction, or maybe we'll be able to see them from this overlook. Who knows?
Last year we got stuck in a hotel because Eric was sick, and we got to hear some really magical music come to our hotel. And right now we're sitting outside of this little town in this big deck. The only thing I can think to call it.
Observation tower.
And behind us is a giant church that is surrounded by a whole bunch of houses, and they're having a big Christmas celebration. And they are playing live music, and you can hear the music just bellowing out of the church. It is loud and energetic and just magical. So we've come to sit here, and I'm gonna eat an apple and enjoy this moment, even though I have absolutely no idea what we're gonna do.
We could sleep on this deck.
That's pretty smart.
Just kind of chilling here watching this, and we just started, we don't know anything about what's happening here, let me be clear on that, but we just started like kind of like theorizing what's going on because this situation is kind of odd. This is not what the houses in this part of this country look like. Like, this is really bizarre. It's like all these houses, I don't know, how many of them do you think there are? 30 or 40 or something? They're basically all identical. They have the same roof and the same color of the outside of the walls and the same windows and all that looks very similar. And they all have their own little yard. It's like a little neighborhood. But I mean, I don't know if I can stress how we're far away. It's like 200 kilometers in any direction from a city or town of any sort. Like, I would assume that aside from this little cluster of houses, there aren't any neighborhoods or even possibly buildings with running water for quite a ways. So why does this exist is what we're trying to figure out. It's pretty weird. And right next to us, this little village is a longhouse. And we had seen those in Brunei, and we know for a fact that the way that those function is that everybody sort of lives together in the community inside this one big house, and then when it becomes dilapidated, they build a new one and move into it, and then kind of flip back and forth. So it's kind of like a hermit crab style thing going on, and we started theorizing, I wonder if this entire community at one point lived in this longhouse that's here, and then somebody realized, yo, we can like afford to build these little houses if we all do it at the same time. Because they all look about the same age, and then they built all these little houses and hermit crabbed into them and like stepped up. That's a guess. Another guess I have is that maybe all this area is owned by, there are palm oil plantations around here, like tons and tons and tons of them. And I wonder if maybe this is all owned by a palm oil company, and they just build it for their workers or something. It's very intriguing, and we're sitting here looking at it, we're like, I can't believe this is even here. Like, it seems unreal that this exists. It sticks out so much. Katie read me the Lonely Planet description of where we're going, and it was like, if you're an independent traveler, it's impossible to do this. You have to go through a tour, basically.
So now you feel challenged.
So now I'm like, we're gonna do this. Like, this is going to happen. Like, if I have to sleep in that, like, observation deck, we're gonna do it. So we came down to the church because I was thinking, like, somebody in there speaks English. Like, it's just gonna happen. It's a little community with a bunch of nice houses, and like, when you get into church areas, like a lot of times, like the people that run the church and stuff, they go to other communities and they communicate with other communities bilingually, and they all just default to English usually. So somebody here speaks English. So we walked in, and the first girl that we saw, basically, was Rosie. She spoke awesome English. She did a really good job. Now we've got a map, a town name, and a guy's name. So they said, go a kilometer down the road, go over a bridge, take a left. You're going into this town. She wrote down the town name. You're gonna look for this dude, this guy's name. She wrote it down. She's like, ask this dude and he will take you there tomorrow, like, hopefully. And then she also wrote it in whatever language it is they're speaking, because I don't know if
Malay.
I don't know if they're speaking Malay here anymore. We're in this area of like a different type. People, what did you say? Murut. It's like a different type of people. It's like ethnically different than the people in the cities and stuff. So, like, I don't even know what language it is. But anyway, we have a note that's like, yo, we want to go to this place tomorrow, and also we need a place to sleep. Yeah. So we're gonna see what happens. They said they had a house for foreign people to stay in that want to go there. Yeah, so she said that specifically. If we get somewhere to stay, and yeah. So here we go. Okay, we've done the kilometer or so. We're in another village now, and it was exactly where they said it would be, on the other side of this bridge. And we met this dude named Virgil, and he speaks like native English, like amazingly incredible English. And he was like, oh, okay, so they're doing this Christmas celebrations and stuff right now. We don't have, like, you know, people are kind of busy right now, but let's see what I can do. So he's going to some little red house, and he's gonna find out if somebody can help us out. And I was like, so does this happen often? Like, people just show up like this, like foreigners? And he was like, no. So we have stepped out of our comfort zone a little bit, and they are stepping outside of theirs. Some super drunk dudes just tried to get me to drink some whiskey, like some Christmas whiskey. And I was like, dude, I gotta drive this motorbike, I can't. And they spoke zero English, so. Oh, maybe they spoke English, but maybe they're so drunk they don't anymore. I don't know, I've been like that with Japanese before.
Our round the world trip taught us one thing: everything works out. And I will be frank that I was just gonna say, let's just keep driving. We'll make it to the next place, and that'll be that. But Eric was like, no, we're gonna go to this church, we're gonna talk to these people. And those people gave us like a crap ton of information. And we followed all that information, and within 15 minutes, we had a place to stay, someone making food for us, and our adventure plans had been settled for tomorrow.
And it's going to be like how much USD for the whole thing? Like $30?
It's going to be $30 to take a boat out to the pinnacle.
Pinnacle.
It's called the Pinnacle. Yeah. Out to the pinnacle. To climb it is another $70, and we'll be doing that with possibly 2 old dudes that
don't speak English.
They don't speak English, but we've heard they can scramble up this rock like nobody's business. He said, you can go as fast as you want, and they can go faster. Like, and I was like, I can go really slowly.
You are a slow bot, son.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it my best effort tomorrow. So that all of that happened. Like, we came up in this little village and all that.
The first guy that came up to us, like, spoke native English. Like,
yeah, his name's Virgil.
Yeah, and like, I mean, like, he's, you know, from Malaysia, but like, I was like, why is your, I asked point blank, was like, why is your English so good? And he was like, it's my native language. It's like, oh, so he grew up in KK, which is the city that we started in Malaysia on this trip. And his dad is from this village, and he said that I only heard a little bit of the conversation you guys were having, but it sounded like he was concerned with the people here and their community.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I asked him, because I asked him, why'd you come back? Because, I'll be honest, from my perspective,
like, he's urban. And
I
like,
want to be urban. I want to be modern. And this guy was living urban, living modern, and he's come back to this community that is very rural.
Yeah, he was like, this is a hunting community.
I don't see the demerits in that. Like, I see the good things in that. I see the communalness, I see the activities, I see the interactions, I see the benefits. But I could not compel myself to do that. So I flat out asked him, I was like, why'd you come back? And he said that he wanted to come back so that he could make sure that good things were happening for this community. And he's
like very highly educated. He's a really smart guy.
Highly educated, well-spoken, and he's a benefit for this community, that's for sure.
Yeah, at least us.
Yeah.
we're giving money into the community, and hopefully more people are doing the same thing.
They do travel stuff through here now, and I don't know if that's because he's here or because they had been doing that and he saw that he could help it and came back. But yeah, they do run travel stuff, so they've offered us accommodation, which we're standing in now, and it's just a wooden structure with about 7 or 8 rooms. Some are singles, some are doubles, and we'll show you what they took us to.
So our room is down this little hall, and we don't have to watch Katie try to unlock the door because there's no locks.
There is a lock.
Is there really? We don't have a key, do we?
We didn't get a key, and we also kind of feel like these people are not going to take our stuff.
Yeah.
It is as bare bones as I think we're going to see.
This is everything.
And in all honesty, I'm totally fine with that. You have a bed, 2 blankets, 2 pillows, a curtain, and a window, and a door. That's it. And
we got an electrical socket here. And there was no place to put this stuff, so I stuffed it in a bag and then kind of rigged it up there with a carabiner. So I'm charging up our battery. And the floor is, you can see it's hard to tell, but you can see through the floor. But you know what?
So I felt weird about putting our food on the floor, so I just stabbed it through a nail on the wall. At the very least, if any bugs want to eat this, they'll eat it over here.
And we don't know, there's a toilet, but it's outside somewhere and we haven't seen it. And I imagine it's probably not spick and span.
Yeah.
But I don't know, whatever. We're sleeping here, we're getting up at 7 o'clock, we're going on this tour thingy, and then we're getting on the bike and heading 200 and some plus kilometers to Tawa'u, which is a long way out.
Yeah, so tomorrow will be a big day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was going to say, if anybody's curious, I asked Virgil about the language that he was speaking. So he told us that he was speaking Malay with the people, but he said when they speak to each other, they use a language from the village or from this area. So everybody here is bilingual, and he is somewhat trilingual, but he said that his native, he didn't even tell us,
mother tongue.
His mother tongue here isn't strong enough So he just uses Malay, and like if the villages have to communicate with other villages and stuff, they all default to Malay, even though they all have their own unique languages. So it's really crazy. It's really ethnically diverse in these areas, and it's pretty fascinating to get a chance to see this like firsthand. And we're here for Christmas.
Yeah, everybody out there is celebrating Christmas. Like they're cooking for the festival. Like they told us the festival is going on right now. So they're cooking for the festival, and we'd be eating some of that festival food as well.
I think. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen for dinner. They said they're going to give us food.
Yeah. Sweet.
It's worked out really well.
Yes, it has. I just stepped in something's crap. And I wouldn't say that it's warm. I'd say it's real fresh.
Oh, God.
Like, real fresh.
I'm not sure what that would have been either, because, like, that's bigger than a bird.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger than a bird.
And I don't think...
It's bigger than a dog.
The only other thing walking around here is people.
It's bigger than a dog.
Could be a baby.
I would almost think that its diet is not very good.
This is a cockfighting ring. They told us they won't be having cockfighting for Christmas. That'll be a thing they're doing tomorrow. Rock on. We had the opportunity to talk with Virgil a little bit more and asked him a bit about like specifically why he's here, and I specifically asked him about that little village that we stopped at with the blue building that we had assumed was acting as a church, and all the houses that look the same. And he said that on the surface it looks like a cool thing, but in reality what that is all those people had lived like deep in the jungle, and the Malaysian government wanted to sell their land basically for logging purposes, and went to them and were like, hey, you want concrete houses and electricity and running water and all these stuff? And the people were like, yeah, of course. And then on retrospect, once they removed and everything, they started to realize that the lands weren't quite as fertile, and there wasn't any hunting grounds around here, and everything else that was like valuable land had been taken up by other villages in the area and stuff. So those people are kind of been, in a sense, duped by the government into living in a situation that really isn't super beneficial to them. And, but I mean, so we were a bit wrong on our assumption, but he did mention that they lived in that longhouse and then they were moved into the neighborhood that was there now. So we were right about that part, but the rest of it we were wrong about. They're not really sustained by a company or anything there, and they didn't build that stuff out of wealth. It was kind of given to them probably at a price that wasn't fair for what their land was worth for the logging rights and everything. And apparently the company that did the logging and stuff, the first thing they did is they went into their communities out in the jungle or whatever and destroyed graveyards and destroyed all the houses and everything, so they couldn't have
lay claim
to like ancestral stuff, and like the people essentially became, they almost unknowingly sold their culture, in a sense that a culture is not the right word, but their ancestry away for something that was probably sold to them like a carrot on a stick, in a sense, you know. Like they were promised a lot more than what they actually ended up with. So, while it's an interesting looking thing to find, maybe it's a bit of a sign of sadness in the area. And like Virgil told us, like a lot of the people up here, they're living hard lives. Like it's not easy, you know, because the world is modernizing around them and they don't have direct access to that. And like we are really, really remote right now. We're out in the jungle, so just access to schools and things like that is going to be difficult. So. I'm really happy we get to see this stuff, and I'm glad that we found it, and the money that I'm going to be giving them is not much. It's what they said they wanted. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but I'm happy it's going straight to the community, and it's not going to like a tour guide in the city who's then, you know, taken 90% of it for himself, and then, you know, living in a nice house in the city, and then the people that are doing the actual work aren't getting so much. So I'm happy the way we did this. I think it's going to work out really well.
So far, we haven't discussed like accommodation or food. We're just kind of assuming that these people are going to treat us right. Like, it doesn't seem like they're out to do any suspicious things. They just want you to enjoy their culture and to invest in it in a way. That invest sounds weird, but I mean, like, we're making a symbiotic relationship here. The mother of the guy who runs the accommodations that we're staying in, she has cooked us some greenery. And this smells really, really good. Not intense in flavor, just veggies. Thank goodness, love veggies. And we got some beef, and it's in a beefy sauce that's quite salty. It's kind of like a beef jerky soup. It's kind of how I feel about it, because beef jerky is supposed to be intense. That's how this feels. It's a little more intense than expected.
The beef jerky's intense?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like more flavor than the meat ever had. That's beef jerky.
Okay, fair enough.
And then we've got rice. Just your standard affair of rice.
Makes for a decent dinner.
It definitely makes for a decent dinner, considering that I don't know what we would have been eating otherwise. We'd be sitting on the back of the bike and I would be eating my second apple. Yeah. I think it's good food for getting ready to go and scramble up a mountain tomorrow.
We finished up dinner, and while we were eating, the guy that basically runs everything here, he's just a dude that lives here, but he speaks a bit of English, and he's super nice dude. He came and explained to us that what we were eating was not beef, but it was deer meat that had been caught by like local people here, like in the woods. Like they're a hunter tribe, basically hunt things, and like they eat boars and deer and stuff. And he said they have big deer on the island, and it was deer that had been caught by dudes. That's a pretty cool thing to have gotten the chance to eat. And I don't know, he just talked about like living here and like how everybody in this village descends from one common grandfather. Like this guy had a bunch of wives and a ton of kids, and then all the kids had a bunch of kids, etc., etc. So everybody is sort of related, and talked to us how he met his wife at a church and told us about his kids, and he's got 2 kids and those things, and it was really cool. It's just fun to meet people in these types of places and see what their lives are like. And then he let us use his shower in his house, which was just a bucket system, but the temperature outside is fine, so even though it's cold water, it actually feels pretty nice. And now we're just kind of chilling for a bit. I've got the light off because I don't want mosquitoes to come into our room. And we're going to go look at the stars, and then we're going to go to sleep, and then we're going to wake up and do something amazing. Hey everybody, that was Borneo part something that I have no idea where it was, and I can't go look because we're not at the house right now.
5?
6, maybe. And as usual, I've seen all the footage because I just got finished editing it, but Katie hasn't seen it. So this is the video where we were in transit from Beaufort is the name? Am I saying that right?
Beaufort.
Beaufort to
That's a Malaysian accent.
From Beaufort to the
You're mispronouncing it a lot.
My bad. My Malaysian is really weak. And it was Christmas Day where we had Kentucky Fried Chicken for our Japanese Christmas, and then we went way out in the wilderness and we found that place to stay.
I can't wait for Christmas.
This year?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Every year for the rest of my life.
So what do you remember from that day other than what I just explained?
Well, the fact that the night before we talked to this guy about like we're going to travel this path. Where's the Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Did we actually talk to somebody about it?
Yeah, we talked to somebody, and he told us that we got a shitty deal on our motorbike, that it cost extra, but it did cost a little extra because
the bike was fine. If it's like $2 more a day, I don't care.
Also, like a little more safety and security that we can talk to the owner. So
yeah, for the bike rental.
And he also told us that there's going to be no KFC along the way. And then there was a KFC along the way. So thank goodness I didn't believe that guy, because I was willing to go out of my way. And if we had gone out of our way on that day was exhausting. It would have just been madness.
Do you remember
Do you remember that dying dog that was sitting next to us while we were eating?
At KFC?
At KFC. Oh God, he was like, I don't think he made it to 2017, man. It was gross. Like every time he would move around, he'd be like, don't come closer to the table. I'm not ready for that level.
You remember the dying dog? I remember the triumph of actually finding the right village and finding the people and everything. That was really just stunning. And the thing we go to do next is really like badass. It's like one of the best parts of the trip.
It doesn't involve KFC.
I had expected for the cool part to be in this video, but then I started looking at how long the edit was getting, and I was like, if I could cut it now and it would be like a reasonably digestible amount, or I could include the rest of it and then it would be like an hour and 45 minutes. And I was just like, I think
we'll just leave you on a cliff.
Yeah, I think that's why I decided we're gonna do a cliffhanger. Basically, is what's going on.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, is it hanging on a cliff?
Yeah, a cliffhanger of it was one of the best adventures we've gone on, and I would do it again and again and again, and I would love to get really, really good at that.
Well, they haven't even seen it, so what are you talking about? I'm
talking about that.
Next end card.
Okay, that.
Yeah, you're hyping it too high. So anyway, yeah, if you're excited about seeing that and you're not subscribed to our videos and you don't want to miss it, the subscribe button is going to help you out with that. And if you like this video, the like button is going to help us out.
I clicked the bell.
Did you click a bell?
I clicked a bell on us. And
it sounds like a bell's ringing right now.
Yeah, I clicked a bell on somebody else, and I have received no emails. I don't understand how to get the emails.
The bell is complex, man.
I feel so stupid. I keep bringing it up.
I don't know either.
Anywho, yeah, there's a bell.
And a Facebook and a Twitter and a Reddit page. And
our website as well.
We have a website. Yeah, there's pictures and stuff from this video and all that is going to be like on our website.
And Patreon made this possible. What happened in this video, all the KFCing, the being lost, the finding the right place in the world, Patreon made that happen. And Patreon also made the next Borneo video happen, which... amazing.
And it made a lot of videos,
Holy crap.
Previous videos and future videos happen. So if you want to help us make more videos and you're interested in just seeing the universe through our perspective, then Patreon is the absolute best way to help us out with that. And let's see about a question. We've talked about this type of stuff a lot. I pre-read this question so I could be prepared. And this is from Jan, one of our Patreon supporters. And hi Jan. He says, now that you've been both back in the US, so Katie was in the US for like 2.5 months or something, and I was there for a couple weeks. Can you compare the general feeling you get there now versus before moving to Japan? So
say that again, what?
So can you compare the general feeling of America now compared to what it was like before we left America, basically back in 2009,
so like
which
5,
is so
6 years ago?
8 years ago.
Oh gosh,
9 years ago.
Before around the world trip?
I mean, I guess, yeah, that would be the fairest thing.
Wow.
So we left America basically in September of 2009 and traveled around for about 1.5 years and then went back to America for a few months and then moved to Japan, and that move was in 2011. So we haven't spent very much time in America aside from like little short trips and then her couple of months that she was just there in America since 2009 basically. So it's kind of difficult to explain because it's been so long.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
It's weird because it's like, it feels familiar yet foreign when I go back there. Like at the same time, like I know everything that's going on around, but like there's just little things that aren't the same that what I'm used to.
For you were there for a snippet, like a week. And for me, I wasn't there to understand America or to get like a grasp on America. I was there to be with my family. So it's like I almost didn't even see it. It was like...
And also, when I was there with you, when we were in a part of America that we really haven't spent very much time together in, so it was kind of just new, you know, like...
For the part that I can, like, really say was super America was the inauguration, and I'd say people are angry.
Yeah, they were
People are more angry than when I left.
Yeah, it really. That's pretty fair.
Overall,
and like, I think about all the other things that have happened, like all of the like the Black Lives Matter protests and like all of that. All of that has transpired since we've been gone.
There's a lot of tension and a lot of.
I think that tension always was there. It just wasn't bubbling to the surface as much as it is right now.
And it wasn't as publicized as it has been in the past. It's just been there, but nobody knew about it, and now everybody knows about it.
Before Katie was there, I was with a couple of friends and we were driving through San Francisco, and there were these two cars behind us, and there was like one car like kind of cut off the other car or something, and the guy that got cut off, and we were all moving very slow, it wasn't dangerous at all, but the guy that got cut off pulled out from behind him and like got next to this other car and started making like I guess the driver of the car that made the mistake was like of Asian descent or appeared to be that way, and the guy just started making these like with his hands, like pulling his eyes back and stuff, making these racial gestures and stuff at the guy and screaming at him and flipping him off and stuff. And I was just like, whoa, like I haven't seen anything that does not happen here. Like
I guess like one thing that I've really not had in my life is just race, period. Like
That's weird because like
It's
you're
really
a minority
weird
here.
yeah, I mean, we are a minority, and we are treated in a different way here as opposed to the locals, but like the races that I know, this sounds so weird, but like what we know from Virginia or what I know from Virginia, like I haven't had that. I haven't had like, I'll be in a room and it's going to be extremely mixed in races. Like I haven't had that in a really long time. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
So many different people, so many different accents, so many different...
And
you get that here, but everybody's trying to conform to Japan. In America, nobody's conforming to shit. Nobody is conforming, and they're doing their own thing, and I think that was a highlight of...
That's a good point.
Yeah.
When we were in Okinawa, we went, the military base is down there, we went to that chicken and waffles place, and there was these two black ladies.
We eavesdropped on those girls, and it was...
These two black ladies were sitting next to us, and they had like southern accents, and it was just the most wonderful thing we've heard
just listening to them talk about chicken and waffles.
Yeah, just
great.
listening to their accents and the word, like the vocabulary they were using and stuff was really nice. I don't know, it's a really mixed bag. So like on one hand, like it's really tense and there's a lot of like this really weird like racial like tension and stuff that's like bubbled up to the surface in America, and anger from the election and all that.
But all of that kind of springs from this freedom to be what you are.
Yeah.
And
it's really complex.
Yeah,
people in Japan ask me all the time about like social issues in America and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't even know where to begin explaining things. Like it's so complicated to explain to an outsider.
We've watched a lot of the documentaries and like 13 and
the 13th is a really good documentary.
OJ, I don't know if it's a movie or if it's a television show.
It's a Netflix special or something, isn't it?
The OJ special.
Yeah.
And that has, I forgot where I was going with that because I really like all of it. I lost it, I'm sorry. Yeah, so.
It's just opened your eyes a little bit to like historical stuff regardless of being there. We kind of got off topic on the question. How did you feel?
Any different?
Again, part of it that's really hard for me is that like, do I feel different because of my experiences outside of America? Do I feel a bit different just because I'm older? Like it's hard to just
Do I feel different because I'm coming into it at a different angle? Like I'm not going there and getting a job and understanding all of the bits and pieces. I don't have to. Hooray!
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really hard. I would say I can't answer that question.
Yeah. It's complex.
Yeah.
We can't answer it, but it took us like 6 minutes or something.
Yeah. Well.
I don't know. I hope that was a little bit of insight. I mean, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Things are crazy right now. I think is really the
tension and uncertainty.
Yeah. Like if you think about how long we've been gone, Obama's presidency had just begun.
Yeah.
Like that's how long we've been. That's how long we've been out of the country. And
yeah,
it's pretty wild. Anyway. Thanks for the question, Jan. And if anybody else has any other questions, I'm running low on questions. So if you want to leave some questions in the comments of this video, that would be.
Doobly doo on that?
I was gonna say description, but they can't leave comments in the description. That's for me.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, if you want to leave some comments in the comment section, then that would be really helpful.
I have a media shout out.
Oh, you have a media shout out?
A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S N T U V baby W X Y Z. I said W X Y Z.
What's his name? Bill Wirtz or something? He's the guy that made the History of Japan video.
I don't know. You'll link him.
Yeah, I'll link that song in the description.